Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first edition of the Ballernerd.com podcast. I'm your host, Daniel, and with me today, I have other people. We have Ian. Say hi, Ian.
What's going on?
We have Nathan,
Sup?
Zach,
Hi.
and we have Peter.
Hello.
This is our first edition of the weekly podcast. We'll do this, like I said, we'll do this every week for Ballernerd.com. Make sure to follow us on Ballernerd.com, which is our actual website. We have a Twitter at Ballernerd. Facebook, Ballernerd.com, of course, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, Ballernerd.com. Also on the YouTube channel, we have a contest going on. Once you hit to our YouTube channel, follow the instructions in the contest. You have a chance to win a free Diablo 3 Standard Edition. It's 100% legit. It's already been paid for. All you have to do is just follow the contest. And best of luck to you on that. First topic for this week. There was a new patch in League of Legends, the Lulu patch, where they introduced a new supportal, is what they were calling her. She's a little different than other ones. She's not a sustain. Zach, I know you're a 5v5 player. What did you think about the patch notes?
I thought the patch notes overall, they were doing a lot of stuff in the right direction. I mean, starting things off, Lulu, I think, is going to be a really good top-tier support. I really like what they did with her, bringing a lot of utility. The only thing that limits her is cooldowns, which is also, I think, incredibly balanced. Some of the things I was disappointed to see, for example, I think was the Janna nerf. Let me look at the patch notes real quick. But the Janna nerf, I think, was really huge, where when her shield's gone, she doesn't give the attack buff anymore, so I think she might be played a little less because of it.
I think that's probably the case. I know I was watching that a lot of that slipped in. Some people didn't even catch it. Some people didn't know that was actually the case. Some people just assumed once the shield was gone, the buff was gone. Which from playing, I've played AD on the bottom a couple times, several times actually, and it's a very big help when you're you're skirmishing and stuff. Anybody else have anything to add? Ian,
Well, everything I've seen, it seems like she just falls off so hard though late game. It just seems like it's kind of one of those characters that they've pushed to, like looks really attractive, but I've been seeing a lot of Lulu mids, and it's just it's pretty terrible.
Seen any of those yet?
Yeah, but it just seems like she falls off late game. She's kind of like I want to say like a luck sort of support. Just like, yeah, it's kind of useful, could be good, but if you make a few mistakes, that's it. You're just kind of bringing your team down. So, not too excited with this character, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. Nathan, have you played her any? Or have you
I
played?
haven't played in a
No.
Yeah, I played it. I played, but I haven't played in quite a while with that new PC because I don't play with myself, so it's pretty much not enticing.
It's because he's bad.
Yeah, I know.
He just plays Caitlyn and just like sits at the bottom and trolls like little traps.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Peter, what about you?
Rage.
You get on any League of Legends?
I haven't played lately, honestly. I'm one of those people who just suck at League of Legends, so I just stick with my StarCraft.
Hey, nothing wrong with it. Being, it's just admitting it. At least you're honest. Some people they're, man, I'm the world's greatest. Too strong, top tier, and then you.
Too good for you.
Yes.
That's what Zach thinks he is.
I am top tier.
Well, tell us a little bit about your team, Zach. What is your role on your team?
I play AD bottom lane. That's all I freaking play. I suck at everything else. And my team is doing okay, I guess. We do go for LOL like every week, but our jungler, who's Kevin, has been out for like almost 2 weeks now. Hopefully he'll be on soon because he's building a new computer with the help of Ian here. And once that happens, we're going to be setting up regular
Speaking of which, sorry to interrupt you. There will be a guide on how to build your own computer being posted the next 1 or 2 weeks. When I build a computer, I'll like lay everything out for you. If you've never built a computer before, it'll show you exactly what to do. It won't be like Cal, who built his computer and it took him like 8 hours. This will probably take you like 15 minutes. The guide will be a little bit longer, but that's just to show you and tell you about things. So
Nifty gifty right there.
Excellent,
Yeah.
cool. That's good. That's good. So make sure you follow that. Just in case you're one of those derps and you don't know how to build a computer or anything about it. If you buy your box, just follow that. Maybe we'll get yourself hooked up. Next, moving on. Next, there was a lot of information released within the last week of the WoW Mr. Pandaria beta. The NDA was lifted from their press conference. There's been lots coming out. There's been the female Pandaren model, which looks like a dwarf with fur. In my opinion, there's been other things mentioning that like the Horde leader is going to be removed from office of sorts, maybe or maybe not killed by the end of the next expansion. Has anybody heard anything about that otherwise?
Yeah, I heard it was going to be a raid sort of event where you take him down. I was like, oh, wow.
Shit.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Except I'm not playing anymore.
Yeah. You never know. You might step back into it. Maybe it's cool. Maybe it's not. I haven't played entirely too much lately. I've been playing a little bit here and there. But the Dragon Soul thing, I just didn't really dig it. The Raid Finder changed my mindset of this patch at least. I'm like, well, I could, raid 3 days a week with some people who may or may not be good. Or I could just Raid Finder once.
Usually not.
Yeah, usually not. And enjoy, have fun, maybe get some stuff. Don't have to worry about it.
Go ahead.
Anybody else, Ian, have you looked up any of the WoW stuff or been involved in it at all?
I've been looking at some of these other little websites that's got other information about like upcoming changes. It seems to me like just looking at some of the visuals, I was going through some of these pictures that have come through. It looks like they've really retooled a lot of things, but at the same time, I guess they really haven't taken the art. I was expecting them to kind of like change the art direction a little bit.
Kind of did.
With the with the move, because they're taking a lot of the developers and moving some of them over to Titan. Plus, they did that. They had that layoff a couple weeks ago, or they just
did that actually affect the actual
I think it's
game development though?
I think that affected the dev teams at least a little bit, but it was probably like kind of like the lower tier, like greenhorn sort of fellas that were just doing small little things like making doodads. But
pencil pushers.
But that does affect the team dynamic of these people that are working together and have been working together for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was expecting a little bit more of a visual contrast from Cataclysm, other than shift from red to green, which is like what they're doing.
Yep.
Well, you also have to remember though that if they change it too much, the people who already play the game will be like, "What the fuck? Why are you changing my game so much?"
Like
But
that's never happened before.
Yeah, but they've lost 750,000 to 800,000, something like that, subscribers.
They continue to lose people as well.
Yeah,
they
so they're declining.
Well, you have to consider how long this game's been out. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think they care.
It is.
already
It's
made
ridiculous
more
how
money.
long this has been pulled on. You talk about a guy, something that just won't die. It's like a cockroach when a nuke goes off. Just die. Does anybody have anything else?
Which is
to
why
mention?
they're on pandas now.
Yeah, exactly. They're just running out of things. It'll be pandas and aliens, and next it'll be
Hey.
like dirt.
And Ian, your class can take now. Apparently, your warlock.
Yeah, they got a taunt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they're in their Illidan metamorphosis form.
That had been
Their soul shatter turns into a taunt, which I don't understand because if you're in your Illidan form, pulling threat because you do more damage and all that shit, and you know how that warlock demo AOE is retarded. Permanent the best term, but it's very strong. If you soul shatter, that drops your threat. But if it's a taunt, then I don't know how it's gonna work.
Here's the thing, like Blizzard is trying. They do try to listen to people in the forums. Unfortunately, the greater majority of people who post in the forums are not really
whiners.
Yeah, well, literally when I was playing like all through Cataclysm, that was a huge post. That was like probably in the top 10 every couple days. It was like, let warlocks taunt, make us tanks, and it'll solve a lot of these problems. But unless they've completely retooled it and allowed you to tank and hold threat and not take damage for a really consistent period of time, it seems like it would be much more disruptive.
I don't see that happening. I know the metamorphosis form itself is a little tank set. I don't know how that's gonna work. But
How long is the meta? I'm sorry.
I think it's 12 to 15 seconds. I know there was a glyph that made it 6 seconds longer, but I don't know if that's going to be in there or not. The glyph's going to be the next topic I'm going to cover, but I'm not sure. Yeah. It was a longer period of time, based more than certain cooldowns, but it wasn't maybe 20 seconds at most. I'm not sure.
Well, I saw like someone already uploaded a video where they did one entire Cataclysm instance in the Metamorphosis form. I was like, wow, I think it lasted
Like they stayed
damn long time. Yeah, I was like, what? Huh.
Maybe there's
wow,
some sort of
survival.
change that I don't know about because I don't follow Warlocks ever.
Yeah.
But moving on, there was a lot of changes to the glyph setup. Some of these are very interesting. Like, for example, there's one for a warrior. If you have your Berserker Rage active, which just Berserker Rage, if you don't know, it makes you immune to incapacitate effects like saps, repentances. You also generate more rage when taking damage, and you can also gain a little bit. But when you have this up, you just light on fire. A lot of these glyphs that are coming out are cosmetic. There's some that for druids, like every time you shapeshift, your skin, your cat form looks different. Your bear form looks different. There's one where your travel form can turn you into like a rideable mount or something. All these glyphs are coming out. They're coming out with a lot of flavorful glyphs, which I think is cool because in the past, minor glyphs, if you don't know, have been just stupid. Reduce the cost of a buff by 5%. Each class has like one minor glyph. Every other class has one minor glyph that's necessary. All the other ones are just dumb. Anybody have anything else to say about WoW for this time, or are we just going to move on?
No, let's go ahead and go on to Diablo 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Diablo 3. Ian, I know you played the beta, so what do you think so far about Diablo 3? Are you excited or are you not?
I think it's going to be tremendous. My biggest concern, honestly, is that the game is not going to be hard enough. I mean, yeah, you can get the Inferno, I think is the final difficulty. There was a video posted by Blizzard that said, like, oh, you will die. Well, if I die and there's really no repercussions other than me just, like, reloading in town and, just, like, having to get back to the same point, well, that's not really, like, whoop-dee. That's pretty much every, like, game. You respawn, you just keep killing people. So if they have pretty heavy death penalties, then, yeah, it'll be interesting. Also, let me mention real quick that Marcus is going to be helping a lot with the coverage of Diablo 3 in the future. Also, Cody, who are not here at this current podcast, will be in future episodes. And they're going to cover a lot for us.
But apparently, after Inferno, if you die, you have to start all over again. So.
Shit!
Like hardcore difficulty? Or you can start it? Okay.
Well, start like entirely all over again if you die once.
Wow. Well, hey, some people want that kind of difficulty. So if you want to be the best, you got to roll with the best. I guess that's the way to put it.
That's what I want. Actually, I did speak with Marcus before this conference, and they had done a couple of changes that he said were really, really interesting. What they're saying is that, okay, once you get to level 60, you get a new ability, and this new ability allows you to essentially like gain magic find. You gain
I saw that too.
For every time you kill a rare monster, or I guess an elite, and so. But the thing is, you lose that magic find if you switch out your skill set. So you really kind of have to lock yourself into the skill set. Do a bunch of, kind of like magic find or get a bunch of magic find by kind of staying in games. It really rewards people for going through an entire game versus someone who can only play for an hour. Granted, it is a more casual game, but they really, I guess this is how they're trying to like make it a little bit more hardcore, which I think that is pretty interesting. We'll see how it really pans out, especially for people going to Inferno, because like that's gonna suck if you're trying to get magic find and you die once and you're just trying to go like balls to the wall. So,
but if it's gonna be that hardcore, imagine the rewards that they'd have to entice people with if it was on that Inferno ridiculous difficulty where it's hardcore. If your magic find gets up higher and higher and higher, and you're not managing to die, so if you're that skilled or that lucky or however you want to put it, they must be getting some pretty insane drops, you would think. The reward should pay off based on the risk.
Yeah,
and that would also go toward just selling stuff on the auction house or money.
That's what I was gonna say. So it is that.
I'm quitting my job. I'm paying bills with it. You guys too. We just all night split. Anybody have anything else to add about Diablo 3 coming out?
Oh. They did take out I've read on a number of places that they've killed the PvP with launch because
they did.
Marcus told me his thoughts were that balance was an issue with the PvP, but it seems to me they're really not concerned about PvP balance as much as they're concerned about PvE balance. But But that's indicative to me of the fact that because they made so many radical changes to this game, they really, really wanted it to be perfect. And so my thought is that we're going to see some day 2, day 3 patches that are going to be pretty drastic as well.
Most likely.
Okay, my idea about that. First of all, I mean, I understand that Diablo is more a PvE game than PvP, and so you can kind of get away with that. But at the same time, going ahead and just canceling a big portion of the game like that until a later release for the DLC or something, I don't know if it sets kind of a precedent or it makes it so game developers can say, well, people did it once, it's not necessarily that big of a deal if you don't release certain parts of the game all at once, and that might continue to happen more and more.
EA Games.
That's very.
We'll just throw in DLC kind of attitude.
Yeah, well, I don't think they should do that for Diablo 3. How many years has Diablo 3 been in development? They shouldn't really do that. I mean, I understand back in Diablo in the Lord of Destruction, there wasn't a lot of PvP, and some of it, it was essentially getting camped outside of the camps. You'd be hostile, and there'd be some assassin out there with 15 traps, and you'd walk outside and explode. So hopefully they take it in a different direction than that, where it's more organized. Because that game was mostly we all agreed on. It was focused on the environment aspect, playing through the game, leveling up your character, getting your gear, farming your gear, trading your currencies, and everything like that. But I'm excited for some if they change the PvP up in Diablo, because I wasn't a fan of it back then, but that was many, many years ago, because I was the guy who tried to play the stupid shit, and I'd run out there because I was younger back then, so I'd run out and there'd be some guy, something stupid like a barbarian with his teleport little enigma or whatever it was. He'd teleport on you, shout 3 times, you die. I'd be mad. I'd be like, I don't want to play this shit anymore. I'm never playing again. And then I'd come back an hour later.
You're probably the kid who's killed by there's some hurricane druid just sitting right at the end of town.
Hurricane druids, trap assassins, fucking poison necros, just the stupidest stuff. It killed me, man. I was so mad at that game. That game don't get along. Moving on next. StarCraft 2 is another game we're going to cover. Peter, I'm going to kind of let you just start on this. Anything recent about it, or coming up maybe the next expansion? The
MLG scene?
Heart of the Swarm, excuse me, or the MLG scene. Just go ahead and say something.
Well, as we speak, I actually have all the streams open right now for MLG. That's going on right now, and it's pretty interesting, seeing as the pool play going on is really limited. There's a lot of the big names aren't in there. It's very, very small in terms of how many people are playing. And, of course, you have big names in the open pool play. But I have to admit, I wasn't able to watch very many games last night, which was disappointing. Mm-hmm. But one of the games, I forgot who it was, Marine King played, Sase, that was it. He had incredible micro that I loved. He's very good at throwing units into his medevac and playing around with the force fields that Protoss throw down. He's very good at just ignoring those force fields basically with his medevacs, and that's just play I love seeing. Anyway, that's a random tangent on one little thing. In terms of stuff coming up, IPL 4 is supposed to be on Easter weekend, which should be really interesting. That's in Las Vegas, and there was some debate about whether that's actually going to the fact that it's on Easter weekend is really necessarily going to hurt viewership for it. I don't think it's going to hurt it too much. People who are going to actually go are going to go anyway, and people who are going to actually watch it will be able to tune in as they please. I mean, they're not necessarily going to be watching it all weekend like you normally would, but you still can do that. And along with the lines of IPL 5 has been very openly announced. They confirmed that, of course, they're going to work on that. In terms of tournaments, I don't know what else to go over really quickly. I'll have, of course, more information after MLG's done this weekend. But I don't watch GSL too much just because it's on so late and I'm busy. I don't want to be waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch it. And then hitting on just some Heart of the Swarm stuff, I just have to say I don't think there's anything relatively new. I'm just extremely excited for it. I think it's going to bring a lot of players back in, and it's going to bring in new players. I don't know very many people who actually do play. All my friends play League of Legends, or they're going to be getting Guild Wars now. But I do have some friends who have said that they are going to be looking into getting into StarCraft once Heart of the Swarm comes out.
Yeah.
And that's been kind of, every once in a while you see a post on Reddit about that. So asking when it's going to come out, because they'd like to get involved, but they kind of want to wait for it. So I'm excited about that. I'm just a bit worried about the balance. I'm sure they'll work everything out, though.
I'm sure.
Any other thoughts, comments?
Blizzard,
Well,
Blizzard
actually,
comes
I
out
think
with a
the-
patch. There's always something that needs to be balanced. It could a patch expansion. It could be for Diablo, StarCraft, WoW.
Well,
It's always something.
I think if you look though at
Yeah.
if you look at what was it, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 1 actually was not balanced until Brood War. So they've probably been sitting on this for a while. I think some of the changes, like some of the Protoss units, they're getting rid of the carrier, my favorite unit actually, and
Haha, yay.
yeah, so that's really depressing. But they're adding some things because the Protoss have pretty habitually had trouble with anti-air and getting mass mutazerged.
You're getting a giant Corsair to replace it.
So I think some things like that. But I think what's going to happen is this will really balance it, and then when they drop the final
final
expansion pack, the final expansion pack, I think it's just going to be solid from the get-go. But I think we can look at it that way just based on the what they've done in the past with StarCraft 1.
So I don't think you can say too much that StarCraft 1 wasn't balanced until Brood War, and that was fine. That was fine back then because it didn't have as big as a following. There wasn't as many things writing on it. Now it's to the point where we have people.
You there, Peter?
True. Good rebuttal.
You have to remember.
Go
ahead. StarCraft 2 right now is pretty much kind of balanced. So.
Yeah, it's pretty much extremely balanced. I'd say there's no balance issues. I mean, people do whine here and there about stuff, and they may have a point, but especially after the whole EMP nerf, I think that was the last big patch. I mean, no one cared about the whole Phoenix range upgrade, it seems like.
Well, if you play a competitive game, people don't, they're always going to complain something's too strong. It doesn't matter what kind of game it is. This gun in Call of Duty could be too strong. This character in League of Legends could be too strong. It doesn't matter. If somebody gets beat by it and they get embarrassed, they say it's too bad. It's over.
Yeah.
So that's just how it is in any game, because people get mad and rage.
There was in the Red Bull LAN, they had little things popping up at the bottom with little facts, and some of them were pretty funny. One of them said, StarCraft has been made to have a best race. You play the worst one.
Okay, well, we're going to move on from StarCraft. We're going to the last game we're going to cover is Star Wars: The Old Republic. Then we're going to wrap it up because we're kind of stretching on time here. Is anybody here played Star Wars: The Old Republic at all?
Nope.
I played it in the beta.
Okay, Zach played in the beta. Nobody, Cal, Ian. Okay, Cody played it a little bit with me last week. They did a free weekend this past weekend, which they hadn't done anything free, get people in kind of thing.
You know why they did free weekend?
I don't know why.
Mass Effect to help pacify. It's like, oh shit!
Oh, you're brilliant.
Something.
Somebody give this guy a gold star. That's a very good point, since there's lots of people mad at BioWare from the Mass Effect endings, which I'm not going to talk about right now because we could go on for days with that. But they're coming up with a new patch most recent, because I played a lot when it launched. I played it the second it came out. I played a Jedi Consular. I think I'm almost level 40. I played mostly by myself. That's the only reason I wasn't playing it so much, because I wasn't in a guild that was more than just like some 7-year-old kids. So I played a lot of it by myself. It's almost like a single player game when you're playing. It's almost like Mass Effect, the single player side of it. But then you go into the stations or the fleets, and there's other people, which I've I'm excited to get back into. But this next patch coming up, they're doing one of the main things I think that's good is UI customization, which I'm surprised they didn't have it launched. Like when Rift launched, however long ago, there was you could take parts of the UI and move it around, which is important for people because they've been playing other MMOs for so long with their add-ons. They have a custom UI set up how they want it to be done. And to give BioWare credit, the UI wasn't very bad when you set it up. It was your action bars were where they should be, and your character, your player, and your targets weren't too bad. But they're just going to let people free reign to customize them. Also, there's a legacy system, which I'm not sure if anybody knows about. The legacy system is once you level up a character to a certain level, I believe it's 20, 25, or 30, you can create a last name. Basically, it's a family, and that's all you could do. That was this one, like we said, how they don't have games done at launch, but they're going to release something else for it. This was the exact epitome of it. People were upset with the legacy system because you could make, your last name, and that's it. But in this next one coming up, you're going to be able. They've released a lot of things. There's certain legacy abilities that you can use. There's also certain class combinations. Say if you have a Sith Pure Blood, which is like the guys with the red face with the little tentacles hanging off that could only originally be Sith warriors and Sith inquisitors. But say if you have a Sith warrior and he's the leader of your legacy, say your father or your dad or however you want to put it, if you make his son could say be a Jedi Knight, but he could still be a Sith as a race, which is unique and it adds a play style into it. Hopefully, I'm sure eventually they'll add some type of heirloom system like WoW where you level up faster. Which I'm excited about because I hate leveling up characters. I've done it for so many years. I'm sure if anybody who's played WoW for over a year, you leveled up too many characters, and you probably hate it. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to jump back into Star Wars when that patch comes out. I'm going to at least give it a shot. Hopefully there's somebody who wants to play with me. Hopefully I can find a group of people because I'm not really playing WoW, so I'm not really doing too much. So I'd be excited about that. Does anybody have anything else about Star Wars? I know none of you guys play it, so probably not. But
do you think it's going to go free to play?
With the amount of money I thought they put into it, I don't think it will yet. It may be something they do in the future, but I think it's still pretty new, so they're still probably going to try to hold out and keep what they can because this is really the first major patch they had. They're adding an operation, which an operation is a raid. They're adding some dungeons which are called flashpoints. And the raids are 8-player and the flashpoints are 4 players, but they are adding content. So I think they will probably add some content and see if they can reel any people in with these free weekends and these 7-day free trials you can give your friends. And they'll probably get more extreme as it goes on. Like, WoW did that Scroll of Resurrection, which now is ridiculous. I had a level 80 hunter for, clicking a couple buttons. Which is cool because they give you all the gear and everything, but I think they'll kind of reduce their standards, and then eventually they'll go free to play. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I hope they do. It'll get me involved. I don't know that I would otherwise jump into that game.
It would get a lot of people involved, but some people don't like free to plays. I mean, granted, it is free, but they do the whole. It depends on how they do it.
Thing. Yeah.
Like all points bulletin APB when that went free to play, you can buy a gun. Like your guns you buy last for a couple days. Yeah, but you can buy guns that have a lifetime license with store credits or cash. You can convert it, and they're just ridiculously strong. They have mods and everything, and you run around killing people. I'm like, oh, that guy's got them paid. He's got and the gun that they first came out with was you had to buy $60 worth of points.
But it fires a nuke.
No, it's like an AK-47. It's what it is. It's an assault rifle. It's good, but it's like $60. So it's like you're buying a game for this gun, so it's not really free to play. So, but they might do it that way. Like DCUO, the superhero MMO, they went free to play, and their system's okay. You can still play without it. You can buy. They come out with DLC every quarter. You can buy the DLC. Like I played it for a little while. It was pretty fun. And I bought the first DLC. It was a Green Lantern expansion, and you just buy it with cash, with points, and you don't have to pay. No subscription or anything. Their model is okay. Is
it a points to cash system, or cash to point system?
Yes, you buy it's like
I hate those
because they always gimmick you like you have to buy 1,000 points because you can't buy 800. And then you have to, I have 200 points. I need to spend them on something. I'll buy 300 more. I know that's how it works, but that's business, so that's whatever that is. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Ian, tell us what's to come of Ballernerd.com. Give us a little spill.
Well, if you go here to our website at www.ballernerd.com, we are going to be launching the site in 37 days. That's about 10 days before the contest for Diablo 3 comes out, and of course the winners will be announced on the website. We have still a few little things to do, but we're mostly done. We're looking forward to getting this thing going because it's going to make getting all our content out there much easier and much more streamlined. So we don't have all these things all over the place. Also, we'll be posting reviews. We'll be talking about like the games that we're covering, as well as we'll be posting live streams and some other videos. So it's gonna be great. Still got a lot of work to do. Probably gonna get a couple hours in this weekend and just iron out those kinks, and it'll be great moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Definitely make sure, listeners, to keep following, keep up with us on Twitter and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, follow us, get in that contest. And that's pretty much it for our podcast. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Make sure contest. If you want a free Diablo 3, if you're not one of the WoW annual passes, you want your shot at it, it's very easy. Follow the instructions. Make us a video, make us laugh, something cool, and maybe we'll get you a copy of Diablo 3. I'm your host, Daniel. I'd like to thank my partners, Ian, Zach, Peter, and Nathan. Thank you, guys. Ian, you have anything else to say?
No, this is a great first podcast, and hope you guys tune in for some more because they're going to be equally good.
Nathan, tell everybody bye.
Adios.
Peter, you have anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, Zach.
Bye.
Yep.
Love you.
I love you all.
They love you all. Thank you for listening.